Hello, and thank you for checking out the Littrell Show for Monday, February 22nd. I'm Jason Littrell, and here's what caught my eye today. Now, tracking the return to normal. Now, this is a story from the Morning Consult by Alyssa Meyers, and the story goes, Americans are growing more comfortable with indoor dining despite cold weather in much of the country. Americans are much more comfortable with outdoor dining than indoor dining, although the latter is catching up. More than half, 53%, of the United States adults said that they are currently feel safe sitting down for a meal outside, compared to 42% who said that when asked about indoor dining, 11% point gap that closed slightly this week compared to last week. Now, 59% of Americans predict that they will feel more comfortable dining out within 6 months. That share did not change much from late December to early January, but increased during the last days of the latter month before stagnating again in early February. The share of adults who think they'll feel comfortable dining out will within the next month increase to 35% in January's final 2 weeks, where it remained by mid-February. Now, that's a whole bunch of numbers and it bounced back and forth, but what that means is that people are a little bit more comfortable dining in and outdoors as the coming months are coming through. So I guess people are pretty confident in the vaccine being rolled out. The next story is So the next story is about the Restaurant Relief Fund. This is a big deal. Here's some specifics about it, and this is from Chuck Schumer and what they're trying to do to roll into the larger $1.9 trillion package from the federal government. So the grant maximum is $10 million per restaurant group, or $5 million per individual restaurant. That's much different than the $10 million that Ruth's Chris got from the first stimulus package. So it seems like they're actually going to have to earn it this time. What it goes for is eligible expenses. That means payroll and benefits, mortgage, rent, utilities, maintenance, supplies, including protective equipment and cleaning materials, actual food costs, operational expenses, covered supplier costs as defined by the SBA under the PPP program. Also covers sick leave and any other expenses deemed essential by the administrator. So it's still a little bit vague, and you still need a PhD in words and letters to understand what this stuff actually means. But generally speaking, it looks like it actually means that you can actually the new grants apply to running the day-to-day operations of a business. The covered period is they can be spent on eligible expenses from February 15th through December 31st of this year, and the administrator may extend the period through 2 years from the enactment of if conditions warrant, as in if there's no progress on vaccines. So the set-asides are $5 billion of the $25 billion total is reserved for restaurants with less than $500,000 in gross receipts in 2019 for the first 60 days of the program. So that means that you got to act quickly. During the initial 21-day period, the administrator will prioritize awarding grants to eligible entities that are owned or controlled by women or veterans or are socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. The full story, again, this is might as well be Greek for a lot of people, myself included. It's hard to read, but there is money out there. There is money allocated for independent bars and restaurants, especially with women and veteran-owned businesses. But you have to act quickly. So you have to act really, really quickly. All right. So another piece of news from this weekend is that Cuomo announced that indoor dining capacity in New York City expands to 35% starting this week, and that's coming from 25%. And this is an excerpt from Yahoo News from Maurice Dubois. The governor today also announcing that the city's restaurants can increase indoor dining capacity some more. Starting next Friday, February 26th, restaurants can increase from the current 25% to 35% indoor capacity. The New York Hospitality Alliance says the industry appreciates the boost. It says it'll continue to push to increase to 50% capacity as soon as possible. And then it goes on to read that the Hospitality Alliance goes on to say that the rest of the state is still limited to 50% capacity, and all restaurants must continue socially distancing tables, requiring face coverings, and limit party sizes to prevent spreading the virus. Let's see here. So this is a quote from Andrew Ridgey from the Hospitality Alliance saying that we appreciate that the governor is following the data, listening to our voices, and increasing occupancy. We hope to continue this path, increase to at least 50% occupancy as safely as soon as possible. So, everybody's pushing to 50%. The studies have shown that it's literally 1 to 3%. I think of the spread is caused by indoor dining, with the vast majority of spread attributed to to people having parties in their houses. So the next story is restaurants leave a glut of equipment. Now, this is kind of a grim story. This is actually kind of like the graveyard of the American restaurant. But so this is from the AP by Teresa Che, and looks like it was first printed in Arkansas. So the COVID-19 pandemic has forced tens of thousands of restaurants to permanently shut their doors as dining restrictions keep customers away. But it has also been a boon for commercial auctioneers that buy used equipment and sell them to restaurants that manage to stay afloat, particularly ones that have expanded their takeout business and are eager to snatch up supplies at bargain prices. No doubt. I mean, with the incredible increased demand of supplies that are just bought at bargain at like for nothing when restaurants shut down. Now's the time to buy equipment. The story continues to read that as the pandemic has continued to impact businesses, the auction industry has actually become busier and busier as the economy has weakened, especially in small businesses and food service equipment. And this is from the National Association of Auctioneers board member John Schultz. And the story continues to read that a new report by the National Restaurant Association shows that the pandemic's devastating impact on the restaurant industry, which is last year lost 110,000 businesses, or about 17% of the nation's total. So Sean Kennedy from the EVP of the Restaurant Association goes on to say that we've never seen this kind of loss. This is a dire situation for the restaurant industry in the country, as we've ever seen. So if you own a bar, now's the time to buy equipment. If you did own a bar, then if you don't know, what happens when a bar closes is typically people come in and bid on all you want to liquidate everything, so you sell off all the stuff. So I don't want to end this on a grim story, but yeah. So now's the time to buy restaurant equipment. So for story ideas, comments, errors, and omissions, please send me a message to Jason Littrell on any social media platform, or email me jason@jlittrell.com. All articles are property of their original publisher, so be sure to check out the full stories. I've only taken just quick excerpts to show, and all these stories are going to be in the show notes, and be sure to check out the original articles. So head to our group, Service and Hospitality Entrepreneurs, on Facebook to join the discussion, and find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse, or subscribe to the Littrell Show wherever you get your podcasts. I've been Jason Littrell, and we'll see you next time.